Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Senator Lou Correa is here. He's been working on some legislation to help local children suffering from autism. Welcome.
Thank you, Leslie, and I'm glad to be here. And I just wanted to share with you some of the exciting things we've been doing in Sacramento. We passed the budget, balanced the budget, a little bit more money. But what's important is that we not forget about those long-term challenges that we have in the state of California. And one of them is dealing with mental health, and especially with autism. As you know, autism now is becoming one of those topics that every time you turn around and talk to, whether it's a relative or a friend, everybody now has been touched by autism.
Now, this is separate from the legislation involved with autism, but what is it with that? It seems that when we were young, there wasn't so much autism. Why are we seeing such high incidence? Is there actually higher incidence, or is it just being diagnosed more?
Two things. Number one, there is a higher incidence. There's no doubt more children are now being born with autism. But number two, our diagnosis, the way we identify people with autism.
So it's a broader spectrum of what autism is.
So probably 60% of the new cases are better techniques to detecting them, but 40% new cases. We don't know what causes autism yet, but we know it's hurting us, it's affecting us as a society. What's going to happen when our children are growing up? What are we going to do?
Well, what is it? You know, in the past, it doesn't seem like much was done to help autistic children. So what has the effect been? Can we measure that? And what do you expect it would be with these more incidences of
Well, I'm proud
autism?
to tell you that what's neat is that the community, society as a whole, we're all getting together, all of us that have been touched by autism, and saying we need to be politically more active. We need to be more active in creating policy. So
what is the policy you're looking at?
a lot of people in Sacramento are saying we're getting together to create these committees, these special interest groups. Special interest meaning we listen to this message to create an environment. So from the day that child is born, the time they're identified, time they're going through school, special ed, get out of school, jobs where they can, use their skills, and then in a situation where we create living arrangements for them to be independent adults.
You have specific legislation, though.
I've got legislation to essentially protect these children from being bullied, but I've also had legislation to make sure, for example, when you have an autistic individual out there and a police officer sees that individual, that they recognize them to be autistic and they know how to address autistic children. Years ago, there's some reports that officers mistakenly thought these autistic individuals were just being feisty, and you had bad outcomes.
So that sounds like an educational campaign, but this is legislation. What is that specifically, the legislation?
I have again, against bullying. We have legislation to say you got to understand who they are, you got to deliver their services in a way that's effective. So again, it's a big picture thing from birth to being a productive citizen in our community. But the bottom line is everybody understand that autism is something that all of us need to work on.
And okay, so are you talking about specifically to help people in your district?
The whole state of California. I wish I could hit nationally, but our power is in the state of California. So my legislation says if you see any child being bullied, we have a hotline for you to call in and report it. If you see a child that needs help in their school, we need to make sure that they get those services in a timely manner as well.
Aren't these things covered just by the general bullying thing and the services for autism? Wouldn't that be covered too under our new Affordable Care Act in some way?
How long have we been fighting bullying? Ever since I was in high school, you'd always see kids being bullied. And what we're doing is taking another effort to make sure we go after autistic kids that are being bullied.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Senator
you very
Lou
much
Correa, for being with us today. And thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Leyton.